Hello, my name's Olurotimi Osha. Today is April the 26th, 2026. It's just a day after the White House correspondence dinner and a failed assassination attempt on number 45 and 47. Um, of course, Sundays, my intention is to talk about scripture, get a message, some kind of insight, some instructive message from scripture, from the Bible, because it's Sunday. It's a day of peace. But of course, I like talking about American presidents, and so I also had to just briefly talk about the foiled assassination attempt on President Donald Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner yesterday on April 25th, 2026. Thank God it failed. Um, the assassin's name is Cole. Uh, well, attempted assassin, right? If they fail, do they call them attempted assassin or something? Well, the culprit in any event is Cole Thomas Allen, an African American, uh, and it's kind of concerning. He joins the uh, the the troop of assassins and would be assassins against American presidents, incumbent presidents. I must say there've been there's no president who's left office has ever been assassinated, or I don't know of any assassination attempts on presidents who've left office. Um, and so I'm going to do something at some point and just discuss, um, attempted assassinations on presidents. This is something, of course, I hate, and we Americans, we must hate, we must really speak up against and do everything to make sure that nobody, ever tries again. Nobody ever succeeds in assassinating an American president. And despite our politics, we're a democracy. As much as um, there's all that rancor calling President Trump a fascist or whatever. He was still elected into office, and we have a process of getting him out of office. But our presidents, our public servants, public officials, they're doing a service, and they're not supposed to. Americans should not hazard their lives, should not put in jeopardy, their lives or the lives of their families because they're in public service. Public servants can be doing something else, right? President Trump could be, he could be in private industry making his billions or whatever, right? So we have presidents because we love, we have people who love our country and they want to serve the American people. It doesn't matter if we despise them or despise their politics. It does, we're not barbarians, we're not savages, and so, uh, you know, I'm totally against, these vile acts. This was a vile, reprehensible act. This guy, he joins the infamous list of assassins and would-be assassins. By the way, the first assassination attempt on a president was actually on the life of Andrew Jackson. It failed, and Andrew Jackson, famously or infamously, well, famously because people saw it as being brave, the would-be assassin failed in his attempt, and Andrew Jackson would use his cane to beat the person up. But the first successful assassination attempt was, I wouldn't call it successful, but the first assassin who killed a president, the first president to be assassinated, of course, was our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. And, the assassin was John Wilkes Booth, an actor, and of course, he was executed. after that. And then the second president to be assassinated was James Garfield. James Garfield, he's only president to have been a mathematician. He actually formulated a proof, right? I think it was like a subsidiary corollary of the Pythagorean theorem. He's also the only president to have been a pastor. He was a minister. He was a pastor. He was many things. He was a lawyer. He was a war hero. He was a major general on the Union side. He did many things. He was a teacher. Um, James Garfield. Of course, his assassin was the lunatic who wanted a job in the civil service. He was delusional. He was a nut. Anybody who tries to kill a president is a lunatic, is a nut, right? But it doesn't help. Again, this is Stress Awareness Month and Autism Awareness Month, and of course, we've been talking about mental health, mental illness. It's up in the air. It's pervasive in America right now. But in any event, the lunatic Charles Guiteau, he was actually a lawyer, a failed lawyer. He was a very delusional person. He was really crazy. He was one who assassinated James Garfield. Um, the third president to be assassinated was William McKinley, number 25. Most people don't know William McKinley, but he was actually a very successful president. He was the one who started to really drive America's global international imperialism, and not that I support America's imperialism, but he most people would have known more of William McKinley had he not been outshined by his successor, the dynamic, mercurial Teddy Roosevelt. So William McKinley was assassinated by an anarchist by the name of Leon Chalgers. Chalgers, he was an anarchist. He was an acolyte of notorious anarchist as well, Emma Goldman. I think Emma Goldman was deported because of that assassination and other things that happened subsequently. Uh, so William McKinley was assassinated by Leon Chalgers, and after that, who else was killed? John F. Kennedy was assassinated by a Marine vet, um, a Marine vet, a turncoat. People still question and wonder if the CIA was involved. If the CIA was involved, it would have been it wouldn't have been CIA people working for America. It would have been uh, a sleeper agent working for the KGB. So the KGB infiltrated America, the US government, around this time. And so Lee Harvey Oswald, it is said, he went to USSR, attempted suicide. It's probably possibly likely that they turned him, he was turned over and he became an agent of the KGB. And there's a former CIA director who claims that Lee Harvey Oswald was acting under instruction of the Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev, who wanted JFK assassinated. So we don't know, but Lee Harvey Oswald did pull the trigger. Now, there was also an assassination attempt on a failed assassination attempt on President Ronald Reagan by a guy called Hinckley. I understand Hinckley is out of prison now. But if you attempt to kill a president, I think you probably should be in prison for the rest of your life. I don't know that but in any event, so this guy, his name is guy who attempted to assassinate President Trump. His name is it Cole Thomas Allen. And it's unfortunate that he's African American. He's a Black American. He's the first Black that we know of who's attempted to kill an American president, an incumbent American president. It failed, and of course, it happened at the presidential the White House correspondence dinner yesterday. It was canceled, and interestingly, it's the first White House correspondence dinner which President Trump has attended as an incumbent President. Uh, Famously, he attended a correspondence dinner in 2011 under President Barack Obama, in which he was famously roasted by President Barack Obama himself and Seth Meyers. It is said it's in White House lore. It's in the archives. Presidential annals claim that that was what inspired him. It was a catalyst that instigated him to decide to run for office to be president of the United States one day. I don't know, but what would have been an interesting night, unfortunately, was sullied by this vile attempt on a president's life. What is also, and of course, it's um, for me as a black person, I'm an American citizen. I'm a black person. I'm a Nigerian American. Um, it's sad that a black person, uh, you know, perpetrated this vile act. It's more concerning that this was actually uh, indications are that he was actually a very intelligent black American. He graduated from Caltech. Indications are he graduated from Caltech. Caltech is by far one of the best schools in America. It's actually ranked as the best STEM school in America. It's so many times it's ranked superior to MIT, right? It's one of the hardest. It's the hardest STEM school to get into. So he's clearly very intelligent. He has a mechanical engineering degree. And he got a master's degree in computer science from California State University. So and he was a part-time teacher. He was a game programmer. So it's crazy what his motives were. His parents live supposed to, indications suggest that his parents live in the Rockville, Maryland area, and he'd piled up an arsenal unknown to them. They were unaware that he'd been piling up some arms in their home in Rockville, Maryland. Of course, I'm titling this that something in the water in what Rockville, because it's Rockville that notoriously has filed false charges against me for the past 3 years, and they have a judge who's apparently delusional. It would take a crazy judge to find me incompetent to stand trial and send me to wrongfully to a, a mental health hospital when I'm not mentally ill. My family said I'm not mentally ill. I'm a middle-aged man. I've never been mentally ill. If if I were mentally ill, my family in Nigeria would want me to be back home in Nigeria to see what's wrong. And of course, my aunt is a psychiatrist here in Maryland. So this crazy judge, my friends who've seen him have said he's crazy, and he shows erratic conduct. That's Judge James Bonifant of Rockville. So they probably have must be something in the water, you know. One demented judge, that's Judge James Bonifant, and another corrupt judge, Judge Bibi Berry, who you should see the emergency evaluation petition which he filed for her friend's family, or so her family friend, the Iwariris, the public corruption. She probably received a bribe to do that. So they probably have a bunch of not a few demented persons in Rockville, Maryland, of course, and Cole Thomas Allen joins that list of demented people. Unfortunately, the other sad thing is that he's now put uh, Black Americans under the radar, especially uh, you know uh, successful, highly educated Black Americans. It used to be that the Black Americans, or Black people, Black men who were viewed as who were under the radar of the police, used to be those who didn't have an education, right? They didn't have something to do. But now, with the spate of of well, two. I guess two wouldn't call it a spate, but things are always amplified and exaggerated for black men in America. The other person being the Governor of Virginia, Justin Fairfax, who was an Ivy League graduate, a lawyer, who was successful, who on April 16, 2026, just just 10 days ago, uh, killed his wife and then subsequently took his own life in a murder suicide. And now we have another highly educated black man, clearly intelligent, um, Cole Thomas Allen, who attempted to take the life of our 45th and 47th president. It doesn't matter that one doesn't agree with the policies of the president, but that's, in a democracy, we debate issues and we use elections, we have mechanisms. There's had been talk of using the 25th Amendment or impeachment process, but no public official should be in fear of their life by the public because they're doing their job. Of course, I was assaulted in my home. I'd been doxxed for working for the federal government on May 16, 2026. Sorry, 2023, May 16, 2023. Prior to that, there was doxing going on with my address being published with false failure to pay notices. And subsequently, I was swatted. Like people swatted me. I was assaulted in my home and Montgomery County, Maryland, Rockville. There police officers and other rogue agents. I've done videos discussing this because in retaliation for my filing misconduct complaints in the federal government, I was swatted, I was assaulted, and they framed me, and they acted in a barbaric way, violating my constitutional rights. So no public official in America should be attacked, should be dehumanized, or should be killed for serving the American people, regardless of uh, disagreements with President Trump's policies. There's still constituents of Americans who voted him into office and who feel that he's doing their work, whatever, right? And those who oppose him will always have another opportunity in just a few years, right, to vote him out of office. And you know that's the way we do things in a democracy. But in any event, it's very concerning for me that there will probably now apparently be a new fig leaf to place black men under the radar. Now it won't just be uh, the unemployed or undereducated black man. Of course, black men have always been a target, but now there's now an excuse to there's now another excuse to now really focus, place highly educated black men who do the right thing under the radar. I don't know why this Cole Thomas Allen did this. From what I was reading, they say that he has a history of making irrational, intemperate statements. But he had no criminal record, and he graduated from an elite school, the most elite STEM school in America, California Institute of Technology. That's Caltech. Uh, it's tougher to get into than MIT. It's very unfortunate. In any event, my name is Olurotimi Osha, and I'll keep you posted. Thank you.